Rainbow Six has been out for 10 years, and in that time, it has gotten 10 times better than what we had on release. This game used to be a janky mess of bolo flicks, server issues, bugs, and cheaters that would orbit up into the sky and wipe out your entire team. And with Siege X coming, we're even getting back that nostalgic tone and that serious vibe that the game once had. But over 10 years, the Ubisoft team has also made a ton of mistakes when it comes to changes in Rainbow Six. Between terrible balancing changes, horrible maps, and some questionable operator abilities, there are a long list of horrible changes that should never have happened, some of which are still in the game. Like, what is this operator? Why do you exist? Anyway, today we're going over the 10 worst changes, starting out with Knock. You see, Knock used to be this beautifully crafted operator, like the Kavira on Attack with the silent step, sneaking past cameras and backstabbing the defenders. And like a tower of dominoes, the first one fell with the grenade nerf. Now, if you played the game for a while, you know grenades used to be able to kill people through floors. You could cook grenades, which is one of the best things in the game that they also removed, but it's part of the Knock nerf on this list. This was a pretty big nerf for her already, making her a lot less useful because her ability was so niche. But then they went and said, you know, that's not enough. They took away her silent step. Nice. So what does this mean? Well, all of a sudden when you're trying to use her ability, the only thing she's good for, to sneak past a camera, they can hear you on the camera, so it doesn't matter that they can't see you. All of a sudden, now not only are her grenades practically useless, her ability is too. That's not where they stopped. That's not where they drawed the line. They decided, let's nerf the FMG9. So not only does she have shitty grenades now and a useless ability, but then her gun is literally the worst of all the attackers. They drove this operator, who was almost perfectly balanced in my opinion, and choke slammed her into the ground until she was completely nothing. And if you think the Knock nerf is bad, we still have 9 other changes that are even worse. Like another operator nerf, which was Sledge. For some reason, out of nowhere, Ubisoft just got rid of the SMG-11. If you've ever seen the term nerf Sledge on any social media, this is why. They took Sledge and they just nerfed him for literally no reason. But you know what? We should make him a 3 armor. A 1-speed 3 armor so that he's just slow and nobody wants to play him for no reason at all because he's not even OP. He's actually very well balanced, but we still want to. But how does this actually affect Sledge? What happens now? Well, now when you're trying to sledgehammer the ground and work vertically, you're just slow. And when you're slow, you can't run from C4s. So why are we ever going to pick them when we could just pick Buck or Ram and do it much safer? And you know how I know this was one of the worst changes? Because Ubisoft went right back and made him a 2-speed again like a year later. Wow, nice. I'm happy at least they're changing the bad mistakes they made, but why make those mistakes in the first place? I'm just saying, Ubisoft, if you need a guy on your team to help out with good balancing changes, I got you. You can hire me anytime. But let's move away from terrible nerfs and balancing changes for a second and get into terrible reworks. Starting out with the very first rework ever, the Tachanka rework. Lord Tachanka, LMG mounted and loaded, the most iconic and special character we ever had in the game. They put a shield on his LMG, that's fine. But then what did they do? No more posting up in a corner with your LMG and your shield. Instead, you get mobile LMG turrets, so just an LMG, but it breaks walls, I guess. But also, we're gonna give him a unique ability at the same time. The Shamika launcher shoots fire. So sick, right? Well, it would be sick if it wasn't complete ass. The radius on this thing is so tiny and does so little damage that you can literally walk through it and take like 15-30 damage depending on if you're sprinting or walking. And while you're using it, you're exposing yourself to certain death at the same time, because if anyone decides to walk through it, they will shoot you in the face because you've got your launcher out and you can't fight back. Just statistically, Tachanka is still the worst operator in the game, or one of them. Still to this day, they haven't buffed Tachanka at all since his rework, and I still don't know why. That's a Ubisoft change for you. Speaking of reworks, we recently got the Blackbeard rework. Still one of the most annoying operators in the game. What was the point? So now you have an operator that is either banned every single game or ran every single round that he isn't banned. Ubisoft success. So I'm okay with them being OP, but the idea of Blackbeard and the way he works is just so annoying to play against. They didn't make him any less annoying to play against, which is the problem. Why change him in the first place? So instead of getting an actual new operator, we get a rework that's that. So yeah, we're about halfway through the changes in this video, and every single one has been operator changes that made absolutely no sense and were completely horrible, but I promise you the rest are not operator changes. But before we get to them, yes, we do have to talk about the recruit rework and why it is just one of the worst changes in the entire game. Here's the thing, guys. I've played this game since year one. I've seen all the changes over the course of 10 years. I've played it right through. And there's a lot of things that people don't know if they're newer to the game. One of which is that the new recruits are essentially just the recruits that came out originally in the game, but they were switched a few times throughout the 10 years. So we started off with recruits where you could do exactly what you can do with Striker and Sentry. You can pick any of the 2 secondary gadgets with them, and then you would pick a gun or a shield. But at some point throughout this 10 years, they switched it up and they said, actually, you can't do that anymore. We're gonna have preset classes and you can't actually pick the combination that you want. And then these geniuses. What if we made 2 new operators this season, but they're actually recruits, and we actually just make it so you could do the thing that you could do before? Keep in mind now there is way more secondary gadgets, so it makes it a little more unique, but in a sense it is not new at all. Even the customizations of the guns was something that you could do before originally with the original recruits. So they come out with these new operators, and you know, to the untrained eye and the untrained player, wow, kind of unique, kind of cool, but to the veterans of the game, it's a big right in the frickin' kisser, baby. You used to be able to pick 5 recruits, go in all shields, have fun together with your boys, run the recruit rush, run no operator abilities, and have fun. But they eradicated that when they came out with Striker and Sentry. Striker is a good addition to the game, you know, he's a good attacker, and he's pretty viable and pretty useful. Sentry, on the other hand, is pretty much just dog shit. And nobody picks him because there's no friends to pick him with. You can't all pick Sentry, only one person. So I'm personally not a fan, but let's move on to the 5th worst change in Rainbow Six history. Picture this. It's 2015. You just loaded up Rainbow Six for the first time. You see that opening cut screen with the zipper and the stitches and the and then you click on Terrorist Hunt. You go in and you load up the OG Hereford base with the dummies everywhere. It feels like you're really entering the training ground to become a better Rainbow Six player. But for some reason on this day, you load up Hereford base and it just doesn't look quite the same. They did a rework of Hereford base and it's awful. It's literally the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. Not to mention they got rid of Terrorist Hunt. Let's throw that one in there as an honorable mention because I forgot to put it on the list. The first map rework in the entire game was on Hereford base. Why? This map was so good. This map was so unique and it was so cool, and then they made it this thing. Hereford base was one of the most iconic maps in the game. It's something that made Siege feel like Siege, and they just got rid of it. And now it's not even a ranked map. It's just a casual map now. They made it so bad that they couldn't even put it in ranked. Why have we not brought Hereford base back? Why? It's still redeemable. This is one of the changes where I won't be mad if you revert the change because it was so bad, okay? With Siege X coming out, we got the modernized maps, we're getting that old look to the game back. Why not bring back Hereford in its original fashion, the new lighting, the new audio, and just that chef's kiss of magnificence that the game needs? Am I right? Seriously though, I think Siege X would be the perfect time to bring it back. Just maybe make a couple balancing changes to make the map a little more well balanced, and all of a sudden everyone's happy. You know what else would make everyone happy? Old House. I said it. I know you're thinking about it when I was talking about it. One of the first few reworks as well was House, and what'd they do to it? They ruined it too. We had Hereford base and House, 2 iconic maps, and they nuked them both. Honestly, the further we go down this list, the further my heart sinks and the sadder I get. I feel the tears welling in my eyes. Yeah, it wasn't the most perfectly balanced map. Could we have maybe tweaked it a bit just to be more balanced? Yeah, easily. So they do this, and then they take it out of ranked because it's so bad, and it's a just casual map too, and nobody even likes it. So anyway, the next thing on this list is more map reworks. Pretty much all the map reworks and how useless they are. Here's the thing. Ubisoft, for many seasons, have decided not to make new maps. Why? Because there's a lot of maps in the game. I don't know if they're running out of ideas or they just want to make them all better, but what they've done is they've reworked maps, and so many of them are so useless. It's not that all the reworks are bad, like Hereford and House, but then they kind of learn from their mistakes, and they're like, okay, we're not gonna make them bad again, but we're we're also probably not going to make them that good. Keep in mind there are some good reworks. The Oregon rework, the Clubhouse rework. But the thing you'll notice about Oregon and Clubhouse is that they weren't changed that much. Clubhouse has a connector room that now goes from gym bedroom to cash room. These are all things that improved the quality of the map and the competitive viability of it without taking out the heart and soul of the map. If you compare this to the Hereford rework, the entire map is completely different. They changed the entire theme and it's rainy and cloudy and depressing and nobody wants to play that. So you've got the really bad maps, you've got the good map changes, and then you've got most of the reworks. They kind of changed some of the rooms around and they added a few things, but there's no real reason behind it. They just kind of moved the things around. It's like when you walk into your bedroom and somebody has moved your bed from one corner to the other and your dresser has switched sides too, and you're like, why did you do this? That's how these reworks are. Just to name a few, we got Outback, where they just kind of switched up some stuff. We got Favela, which is not any better, it's just different, and I don't know why. Honestly, I think I prefer the old one as well. I don't know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. There are so many reworks like this that were just such wasted times, and they keep doing it. So why not just add a new map? Or get rid of maps? If the map is so bad, just nuke the entire thing. The Hereford base rework, for example. They don't even have to qualify for a rework. They can just be updates. Put them out in the mid-season update where it's like, oh, we added the scaffolding on Cafe, which, you know, was mentioned in some kudos tweets. We added in some little windows, or we added a balcony, or whatever. Just like small balancing changes to keep the map the same while making it better overall. Let's move away from the maps and head over to guns. Pew, pew. So no more map reworks. We're done with them this video, okay? You made it through. Congratulations. Introducing the brand new 1.5 scope. Originally in the game, we had two types of scopes. We had the 2.5 magnifying scope, and we had 1x sights. And that was great. The ACOG wasn't as good in close range, and the 1x weren't as good at long range. But then Ubisoft was like, no, we need more zooms. They added a bunch more and everybody only used the 1.5. Because why? Well, it's great at close range and it's great at long range and it's great at every range, and why would I ever use another scope ever again? Good thing we spent all that time developing those new scopes, right, Ubisoft, right? Yeah, woo! So we had the 1.5s for a while, and then they said, you know what, this is actually a really dumb idea. Let's get rid of them again. And they got rid of them again. Modern day Siege. This is pretty much how most of the changes go in Siege, but then they kind of learn a little bit, like with the 1.5 introduction and the scope introductions, we did get new casings. So you can choose from the Hollow B or the Hollow C or the Hollow A. So we have some progress, but you know, that's only the second worst change in the entire game, because there is still one change that is the worst thing that's ever happened to Rainbow Six Siege. And no, it's not yellow pings, although that is an honorable mention because a lot of people really don't like those, but overall I think it's fine. I think it's probably good for the game in general. The worst thing to ever happen to Rainbow Six Siege, and you might already know, it's rank 2.0. And here's why. This might take a second, so just bear with me here, boys. Before we know why it's the worst thing, we have to know how it works. To know how rank 2.0 works, we need to know how ranked 1.0 works, because that system is still part of rank 2.0. So with ranked 1.0, you had your rank, which was equal to your skill. If you had the skill of a Plat 2, you would be in Plat 2. If you have the skill of a Gold 1, you are Gold 1. If you beat someone of higher rank or skill, you're gonna get more ELO for that game than beating, let's say, a stack of Copper 5s. The amount of skill and ELO you gain is based off who you're playing against and their average ELO compared to your team's average ELO. At the start of each season, you do 10 placement matches. These just place you in your relative skill, and the more you play and win and lose, the more you'll be stuck and kind of solidified in your rank. Each new season is kind of like a new opportunity to get to a new rank because that ELO resets. So what's the problem? You know, if you're a champion, you queue with 4 coppers, you're going to be in lower ranked lobbies and you're going to be able to beat them very easily. A lot of champions would get on copper accounts to play with one champion and just boost them up to champion. So you can get to champion very easily that way. You can take advantage of the system. That's not great. Guess what? You can still do that in rank 2.0 if you're smart about it, but most people aren't. So then we get ranked 2.0. Okay, what is coming with this? Firstly, we get ranked rewards. Honestly, I do think that is the only good thing to come out of ranked 2.0 is the ranked rewards. If we just added ranked rewards to ranked 1.0, even better. The other thing that ranked 2.0 brings though is the division of skill and rank. What this means is that ranked 1.0 system that showed you your rank before is now the new skill system. So that is how your skill is determined. But your rank, the visible thing you actually see in game, isn't a reflection fraction of your skill, based on your skill, but it does not equal your skill. Why? Well, we'll talk about that in a sec. It's kind of stupid. So basically, let's say your skill is Emerald. You start the season off in Copper 5 like everyone else. Your skill is what is determined when it comes to matchmaking. So even though you're in Copper at the start of the season, you're still playing against other Emerald players, but you have to still play enough games to actually reach your rank, even though the game already knows what your rank is. So if you're someone like me who's in Champion skill, you have to play like 100, 150 games to actually get back up to your rank every season. And if you don't, well, you're gonna be Diamond, you're gonna be Emerald. You're gonna have people in the comments saying, you're not even Champion, you're only Diamond 2. Yeah, I haven't played enough games yet because that's how rank 2.0 works. But the other problem with having skill versus rank is it has this effect on people that don't understand the system as well that makes them feel like they are completely screwed when it comes to ranking up. All the player sees is like, I'm only gaining 15 and I'm losing 35, and it doesn't matter who you play against. You could be playing against champions, you could be playing against coppers, because those aren't their actual skill levels. Meanwhile, you also don't know how much your skill is getting affected each game because you can't see the other team's skill, or ranks for that matter, unless you're using a third-party tracker which only tracks their rank and not their skill. All that matters is that it is way more confusing, but I think it's for a purpose. The reason that they've done this is so each player every season has a sense of progression. Not an actual progression, but a feeling like they're progressing. Plus, doing it this way, your rank can actually get higher up than your skill level. So if you are the skill of a Gold 1, maybe you'll hit Plat 3 and you'll want to keep playing the game because you feel like you're getting better because your rank is actually a lot higher than what it should be. Compare this to ranked 1.0 where you'd play 10 placement games and then play maybe 10 more games, and now you're kind of stuck in that rank unless you can actually start beating better players. I don't think this is a necessarily bad thing, but according to Ubisoft, I guess it is. But there's a whole nother issue with rank 2.0 when you look at it from a champion perspective. So originally when rank 2.0 came out, they also made it much easier to get a higher rank to kind of balance for the fact that they added in a new rank, which was Emerald. So now if you're Silver, you're probably getting like Platinum in rank 2.0, and if you're Platinum in ranked 1.0, you're probably getting Diamond or Champion in rank 2.0. So now you have like Golds, Plats, Diamonds, and Champs all in Champion, which didn't make a lot of sense, and it's also why we had like 50,000 champions in one season of ranked. And to counteract this, Ubisoft goes, okay, we'll just make it so you have to play more games to get to champ. They didn't change anything about the actual skill system, they just made it so it takes way more games to get through Diamond and Emerald, so that there's less champions. It's not even a matter of skill, it's a matter of time, which is the most insane part of all of this. And that's why rank 2.0 is the worst change in Rainbow Six history. But let me know what you think the worst changes in Rainbow Six were in the comments below, and if you actually want to get better at the game so that you can finally rank up in rank 2.0 or ranked 1.0, you know, if we want to go back in time a little bit, go watch my Think Like a Champ series to get better at the game.